If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. It's a quote that makes most perfectionists cringe, doesn't it? But according to Reid Hoffman, the legendary co-founder of LinkedIn and a partner at Greylock, that embarrassment is actually a green flag. It means you're moving fast enough to survive. Welcome to the high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled world of blitzscaling. In this summary, we aren't just looking at how to grow a business, we are looking at how to build a giant in record time. We're diving into a framework used by the likes of Amazon, Alibaba, and Airbnb to dominate global markets before the competition even wakes up. By the end of this journey, you'll have the mental toolkit to prioritize speed over efficiency, navigate extreme uncertainty, and understand why playing it safe is often the riskiest move of all. Let's dive into the mechanics of lightning-fast growth, starting with the very definition of the blitz. Chapter 1. What is blitzscaling? At its core, blitzscaling is the science and art of building a company that grows at a breakneck pace in an environment of total uncertainty. Hoffman distinguishes this from standard growth or even fast scaling. In standard growth, you prioritize efficiency, you want to make sure every dollar spent returns a profit. In fast scaling, you are willing to sacrifice some efficiency for speed, but you still want things to make sense. Blitzscaling is different. It is the conscious decision to prioritize speed over efficiency, even when the environment is uncertain and the risks are massive. Imagine you're jumping off a cliff and trying to assemble an airplane on the way down. That's blitzscaling. You are spending money you don't yet have, to acquire customers you haven't fully figured out how to monetize, all to reach critical mass first. Why would anyone do this? Because in the digital age, we live in winner-take-most or winner-take-all markets. If you are the first to achieve scale, you own the ecosystem. If you are second, you are often irrelevant. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a career professional, ask yourself, am I waiting for 100% of the data before I move? If so, you're scaling traditionally. To blitzscale, you need to move when you have about 60 to 70% of the information. Speed is a feature, not a bug. Now, once you understand the what, you have to understand the how. You don't just stay in a state of chaos forever, you move through specific phases of evolution. Chapter 2. The 3 phases of blitzscaling. Blitzscaling isn't a single event, it's a metamorphosis. Hoffman breaks this down into 3 distinct shifts: innovation in business model, strategy, and management. You cannot simply throw money at a bad idea and expect it to scale, that's just burning cash. You must first innovate at the foundation. The first phase is innovation. This is where you find product market fit. You aren't blitzscaling yet, you're experimenting. You're the family or the tribe, 1 to 99 employees. At this stage, your innovation is focused on the product itself. Does people actually want this? Can you prove it? Once you have that aha moment where the market starts pulling the product out of your hands, you shift to the next phase. The second phase is strategy. This is where the blitz actually begins. You stop focusing on making the product perfect and start focusing on making the company huge. You move into the village and city scales, hundreds to thousands of employees. Here, your strategy shifts from how do we make this better, to how do we get this to everyone in the world by Tuesday. You start hiring aggressively and spending your venture capital to buy market share. The third phase is management. As the company grows to the nation scale, 10,000 plus employees, the move fast and break things mantra starts to become a liability. You have to transition from being a pirate ship to being a navy. This phase is about professionalizing the chaos you created in the second phase without losing the soul of the company. Take a look at Amazon. In the early days, Jeff Bezos was obsessed with the strategy of get big fast. They weren't profitable for years. They were in the strategy phase of blitzscaling, pouring every cent back into infrastructure and customer acquisition. They ignored the critics who said they were losing money because they knew that once they owned the infrastructure of e-commerce, the profit would be inevitable. But even the best strategy fails if the underlying business model is flawed. In the next chapter, we look at what actually makes a model scalable. Chapter 3. Business Model Innovation. A common mistake is thinking that blitzscaling is just a Silicon Valley thing. It's actually a business model thing. Hoffman emphasizes that before you hit the gas, you need a vehicle designed for high speeds. A blitzscalable business model has 4 key growth factors and avoids 2 major limiters. The first factor is market size. To blitzscale, you need a total addressable market that is massive. You can't blitzscale a localized boutique shop. You need a market that justifies the massive expenditure of capital. Second is distribution. How do you reach users? Hoffman points to virality, users bringing in more users, or leveraging existing platforms. For example, PayPal blitzscaled by piggybacking on eBay's platform. They didn't build a new market, they inserted themselves into an existing one. The third factor is high gross margins. Software is the ultimate blitzscaling tool because the cost of serving the 1 millionth customer is almost the same as the first. High margins provide the fuel to keep the fire burning. Finally, the holy grail is network effects. This is when a product becomes more valuable as more people use it. Think of Facebook or Airbnb. If you're the only person on Airbnb, it's useless. If everyone is on it, it's unbeatable. On the flip side, you have to watch out for growth limiters. The biggest one is a lack of product market fit. If people don't want what you're selling, scaling just helps you fail faster. The second is operational scalability. If your business requires a human to manually do something every time a sale is made, like a massage therapist, you will hit a wall. You need to automate or create platforms where the users do the work. Once you have a model that can theoretically reach the moon, you need the tactical strategy to actually launch the rocket. That leads us to the aggressive world of strategy innovation. Chapter 4, Strategy Innovation. In traditional business, you wait for certainty. You conduct market research, run pilot programs, and move when the risk is low. In blitzscaling, uncertainty is your friend. Why? Because your competitors are likely paralyzed by that same uncertainty. If you are the only one brave or crazy enough to move, you get a head start that they can never close. Strategy innovation in blitzscaling is about knowing when to start and when to stop. You start when you see a winner-take-most opportunity. If the market is fragmented and being number one doesn't give you a massive advantage, don't blitzscale. But if the market has strong network effects, you must go all in. Hoffman argues that the first scaler advantage is more important than the first mover advantage. Many companies are the first to invent a product, but they lose to the company that is the first to scale it. Friendster came before Facebook, MySpace came before Facebook. But Facebook was the first to scale globally and effectively, locking in the network effect. However, this strategy requires aggressive financing. You need deep pockets to sustain the losses incurred during the blitz. This is why venture capital is so central to the story. You are essentially using cash as a weapon to outlast your opponents. The strategy is, I will lose more money than you to acquire this customer because I know that once I have them, you can't get them back. But strategy is just lines on a map. The real war is fought in the office or the Zoom room. Scaling a company from 10 to 1,000 people is a management nightmare, which is what we tackle next. Chapter 5, Management Innovation. Scaling a business is not just about getting more customers, it's about the people inside the building. Hoffman describes the stages of scale using a biological metaphor: family, tribe, village, city, and nation. At each stage, you have to manage differently, and, this is the hard part, you often have to change the people who got you there. In the family stage, 1 to 9 people, communication is easy. You're all in one room. You don't need processes. But as you hit the tribe, 10 to 99, things start to break. You need product managers for the first time. By the time you reach the village, 100 to 999, the founder can no longer know everyone's name. This is where most companies fail. The founder tries to micromanage, becomes a bottleneck, and the blitz grinds to a halt. Management innovation during a blitz requires generalists in the early stages and specialists later. Early on, you need Marines. Marines are people who can land on a chaotic beach, handle any weapon, and survive. As you grow, you need the Army, people who can build roads, establish supply lines, and scale the operation. Finally, you need the police, the HR and legal folks who ensure the city doesn't burn down. The most painful part of this? Often, the Marines, your first employees and friends, are terrible at being police. To keep blitzscaling, you must have the courage to hire people over your early employees or move those early employees to new beaches to conquer. To survive this management evolution, you have to throw the traditional good management handbook out the window. This brings us to the most controversial part of the book, the 9 Counterintuitive Rules. Chapter 6, the 9 Counterintuitive Rules. This chapter is the anarchist's cookbook for business. Hoffman lists 9 rules that would get you an F in a traditional business school but are essential for blitzscaling. Embrace chaos. You will have no idea what's going on half the time. That's okay. Acceptance is the first step to scaling. Hire Ms. Right now, not Ms. Right forever. Don't look for the person who can run a 10,000 person company if you only have 50. Hire the person who can solve the fire you have today. Tolerate bad management. You won't have time for quarterly reviews or perfect org charts. If the chaos is helping you grow, live with it. Launch a product that embarrasses you. Speed is your only advantage. If you wait for a perfect product, a competitor with a good enough product will take your users. Let fires burn. This is the most famous rule. You will have a dozen fires, customer complaints, server issues, hiring gaps. You only have enough water to put out 3. You must have the discipline to let the other 9 fires burn. If you try to put them all out, you run out of water and the whole forest burns. Do things that don't scale. Paul Graham of Y Combinator famously said this. Handwrite notes to users, manually verify data. Do the unscalable work to get the engine started. Ignore your customers, only the ones who want features that don't help you scale. Listen to the core users, ignore the outliers, raise excess cash. When you're going 200 miles per hour, a flat tire is expensive. Always have more money than you think you need. Evolve your culture. Culture is the operating system of your company. It has to be updated as the hardware, the size of the company, grows. These rules place a massive burden on the leader. You aren't just a CEO, you're a scaling machine. How does a founder survive this? Chapter 7, the role of the founder. The founder is the patient zero of the company's culture and strategy. But as we discussed in Management Innovation, the founder's job changes radically every few months. Hoffman notes that there are 3 ways a founder can handle blitzscaling. They scale themselves, they learn at an exponential rate, they hire a scaler, like Mark Zuckerberg hiring Sheryl Sandberg at Facebook, they are replaced. The board brings in a professional CEO like Google did with Eric Schmidt. The most successful blitzscaling founders are learning machines. They don't just work hard, they learn how to learn. They seek out mentors who have been at the next stage of scale and download their brains. They are also incredibly resilient. Blitzscaling is a psychological marathon. You are constantly told you are failing, your product is broken, and you are losing money. The founder must be this chief optimist who keeps the Marines motivated when the beach is on fire. Think of Elon Musk. Whether it's Tesla or SpaceX, he is the ultimate first principles learner. He didn't know how to build rockets, so he read every book on the subject and hired the best people. He scaled his knowledge at the same rate he scaled the company. But what if you aren't building a software app in a garage? Can these principles apply to the real world? Chapter 8 says, absolutely. Chapter 8, Blitzscaling Beyond High Tech. While the examples are often tech-heavy, blitzscaling is a mindset that can be applied to any industry where speed is a competitive advantage. Hoffman looks at industries like fashion, retail, and even finance. Take Zara, the clothing giant. Traditional fashion took 6 to 9 months to go from a design to a store shelf. Zara blitzscaled their supply chain. They used data to see what was selling and could get a new design into stores in 2 weeks. They prioritized the speed of the fashion cycle over the efficiency of long-term manufacturing. They essentially became a software company that happens to sell clothes. The key is to look for where you can apply software logic to physical goods. This might mean using AI to predict inventory, using 3D printing to prototype faster, or using social media for viral marketing. However, moving this fast comes with a dark side. If you ignore the consequences of your speed, you might build a giant that the world ends up hating. Chapter 9: Responsible Blitzscaling. In the early 2010s, the mantra was move fast and break things. But as we saw with scandals at companies like Uber and Facebook, breaking things can include breaking democracy, breaking privacy, or breaking the law. Hoffman dedicates this chapter to the idea that scale is power, and power requires responsibility. Responsible blitzscaling means building guardrails into your growth. You should ask, if we succeed at scale, what does the world look like? Is it a better place? The nation stage of a company is much harder if the world views you as a villain. Being responsible isn't just being nice, it's a long-term business strategy to ensure you aren't regulated out of existence once you become a giant. Finally, we look at the horizon. What does a world full of blitzscaling companies look like? Chapter 10: The Future of Blitzscaling. We are moving into an era where standard growth might no longer be an option for many. As AI and global connectivity increase, the window of opportunity for a new business is shrinking. If you have a good idea, someone in another part of the world will hear about it instantly and try to copy it. The future belongs to those who can master the blitz. Hoffman predicts that we will see blitzscaling principles applied to solving global problems, climate change, healthcare, and education. We need learning machines and intelligent chaos to solve problems that are growing at an exponential rate. Whether you are a student, an employee, or a CEO, you are living in the age of scale. You can either be the one driving the change, or the one trying to figure out what just hit you. So, that is blitzscaling. It's a wild, messy, and incredibly rewarding way to build the future. Now, I want to hear from you. Does the idea of letting fires burn make you excited or deeply anxious? Would you rather be a Marine in a 5-person startup or a policeman in a 10,000-person corporation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. This is the BloomShelf Hub, your go-to destination for the world's most powerful ideas. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and master the strategies that are shaping our world, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more deep dives coming your way. Stay curious, stay bold, and keep scaling. I'll see you in the next one.